Hello. Uh, I'm going to read from the novel. Well, I can't give you the name of the novel because it'll take you to the author. Um, but what's happening is it's a science fiction, a social science fiction, where Islam is on the verge of taking all over all the world, including the United States. As a matter of fact, in this novel, the president is a Muslim, and his advisors are Muslim, and he's but problem is he's coming down with multiple sclerosis. So whenever he does the salat, he can't keep from farting. Make it so he has to do the salat all over again, and he's getting angry. But anyway, what happens here is that uh, they start coming upon the videos and saying and writings of this guy that was exposing Islam that they're trying to kill, and because he's exposing Islam, and I thought that I would read one of the guy's videos and let you comment and see if you can help the Muslim president and his vice president say with ideas of how you would respond if you heard this video. So this is what happens here. Okay. All right. The president pointed at the screen that showed videos off of the internet. He then walked over to the control panel and said, "From this guy." The president pressed a button and the face of Niles Neville filled the screen, replacing the burqa-faced figure that was there. The president said, it's the same guy who inspired Israel to attack the Kaaba with pig parts. He also made other videos like this one." With the clicking of a few buttons on the keyboard, the image of Niles Neville came on with the title of the video that read on the computer screen. "Oh Muslim, aren't you glad Muhammad got it down to just 5 prayers a day?" When the video was completely downloaded, when the video was completely downloaded, Niles' video's image said, "Oh Muslim, I just found out that according to the Hadith, Allah originally wanted you Muslims to not worship 5 times a day, but to bow to the black stone 50 times a day. Can you imagine that? 50 times a day. It was during the time Muhammad took a flying donkey called Baraq up to heaven after he had the donkey fly him on a night journey, fly him one night to visit both the temple, the Jerusalem temple, Solomon's temple, and the Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem. It was about that time Muhammad met Jesus, who Muhammad said was, quote, red in the face, as if straining at stool or constipated. And during that time where Muhammad looked into hell and saw that that most of the residents of hell were women because they cuss a lot and show ungratefulness toward their husbands, unquote. Oh, and the fact that women have half a brain compared to that of a man. It was during this time that Muhammad found out that Allah wanted Muslims to worship the black stone. I mean Allah, worship Allah, 50 times a day. 50 times a day, O slave of Allah. Can you imagine washing up and pulling out a prayer rug 50 times a day? Cleaning your nose, pulling out a prayer rug and stick your patootie in the air 50 times a day. And supposedly, according to Muhammad, Satan is washed out of your nose from sleeping in the upper interior of it after just the third time of wash out your nose, making it washing out your nose, making it so you'd then be spending 140 times of washing out your nose for nothing, But guess what? Oh Muslims, Muhammad was able to get Allah to bring your worship. You're worshiping the Kaaba. I mean, Allah. You're worshiping Allah down to only 5 times a day. Aren't you glad? Aren't you grateful? I mean, if you had to worship Allah 50 times a day, how in the world could you ever find time to do something productive and beneficial like, say, winning a Nobel Peace Prize? I don't know about you, O slaves of Allah, but I think you should be very thankful to Muhammad for bringing down Salat to a mere 5 times a day instead of 50. Was it really 50? Was it really to be 50 times a day until Muhammad, praise be unto him, flew on the donkey in the night journey? Asked the vice president with a sick look in his eyes. The president was about to nod yes when suddenly the digital image of Niles Neville said, "Oh, by the way, I looked further into the night journey Muhammad said he took on a flying donkey-like creature with a human head. It turns out that the Al-Aqsa Mosque and the Jerusalem Temple, Solomon's Temple, Muhammad said he visited before going to heaven and getting prayer down to 5 times a day, didn't exist at the same time. Did you hear that? O slaves of Allah, both the temple, the Jerusalem Temple, Solomon's Temple, and the Al-Aqsa Mosque Mosque said he visited with the flying donkey didn't exist at the same time at all, ever. On top of it, Aisha said Muhammad never left the bed. Being the case, it was probably a dream and not something that actually happened. Still, though, dream or not, I think it's something you should be very grateful for, not having to have your patootie up in the air 50 times a day thanks to Muhammad getting the worship craving of Allah to bring it down to only 5 times a day. The vice president looked at the president and asked with a weird expression in his eyes, "The Al-Aqsa Mosque and the temple Muhammad, praise be unto him, said he visited during the night journey didn't exist at the same time?" The Homeland Security chief then said, "He's just another lying kafir." The president, seeing the camera on him, said in a whisper, "Apparently not a lying kafir, because both structures didn't exist at the same time. That is actually not a lie." "So Muhammad, praise be unto him, didn't take a flying donkey ride after all?" asked the vice president. The president thought and said, "It's shocking, if true, but ever heard of a parallel universe? Ever hear of parallel universes?" "Only in science fiction," said the vice president. The president then said, "Maybe Muhammad, when he took the flying donkey ride, well, maybe Allah took him out of our known universe and transported him into a parallel universe where the Jewish temple, Jerusalem Temple, Solomon Temple, hadn't been destroyed by the Romans in 70 AD, and the Al-Aqsa existed with it, even though Islam hadn't been established in Jerusalem yet. Maybe when the Hadith has Muhammad talking about the mosque in Jerusalem, he was talking about where the Al-Aqsa would be someday. He was a prophet, so this his prophethood might have actually kicked in then, making him talk as though Al-Aqsa Mosque existed, even though the Hadith says he went to it." The vice president then said, "It still bothers me that Aisha said he never left the bed. Remember," said the president, "according to Muhammad, praise be unto him, women have half a brain compared to us men. It takes two women to have their testimony believed. Being the case, she could have thought Muhammad stayed in the bed, but fell asleep and not known that she fell asleep, allowing Muhammad to secretly fly the donkey to heaven and get Allah to bring the prayers down to just 5 times a day that way, like the Hadith says." "I hope you're right, Mr. President," said the vice president, "because hearing this makes me wonder if he didn't take a flying donkey ride, but that maybe it was a dream. Let's quit with saying it was a flying donkey ride, okay? It just sounds so stupid and crazy to keep on hearing flying donkey this and flying donkey that. It was actually a flying Baraq ride," said the president, "which isn't a donkey at all. Apparently it was a heavenly creature that only looked like a donkey, well, in body, but a big donkey, smaller than a mule, without a donkey head, but with the head of a human. Probably had wings, since it could fly." "Well, it does say it had wings, according to Hadith." The Homeland Security chief broke in and said, "Wings or not, such a creature would have to be very fast to fly from Mecca to Jerusalem in only a few night hours for Muhammad to do and see all that he reported in the Hadith." The president said, "Instead of wings, maybe the Baraq used a type of jet. Maybe it was far gassier than me with hummus, and it rocketed Muhammad, praise be unto him, into Jerusalem. You mean with a supersonic fart? Said the vice president, rolling his eyes. Well, asked the president. It had to be supernatural, said the Homeland Security chief. Muhammad, praise be unto him, would have to have been covered, or to have traveled so fast from Mecca to Jerusalem. Man, the wind of such incredible speed would have blown his eyeballs out. It would be like hanging on the outside of a fighter jet, if he had to make the time he described in the Sahih Hadith. With that, the vice president said, it actually makes me think it must have been a dream, and not the way billions of us Muslims believe it to be, which is an actual event. Does the Hadith ever say it was a dream? Please, please all, let it be so. I don't know, said the president. I hope it does. Whatever it says, it just goes to show you why we need to get better control of the internet. For stuff like this might get around like a virus and cast down on Allah, praise, and his messenger, praise be unto him, making us look like crazy idiots for believing it. Doubtful, but you never know. And that's not saying it's, and I'm not saying it's crazy and idiotic to believe in a creature that would take Muhammad, praise be unto him, to Jerusalem in so short of time either. Don't get me wrong. So anyway, there's the debate. They're trying to rationalize what sounds crazy to them because they don't really know if it's true or not. But since it is from the Hadith, backed up by a little bit by Quran 17:1 that talks about how he took a night journey from the sacred mosque to the farthest mosque, which I guess would be Jerusalem. Please feel free to put your comments, okay? Bye.